Hey, hi Dipesh.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, yeah. So, are we sharing the? So, do I have to share my video as well? Do I have to switch it on, or how is it?
Yeah, we'll just wait for a few minutes. Wait for a few people to join us.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, so, let me see.
Sure, you can share your screen as well.
Yeah. Uh, I'm getting a video error which says that you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Right, right. I'll give you the access to host. Just a second.
Yeah.
So I think we are good to go now. Just- So welcome everyone. I'm Abhishek. I'm part of the growth team at Dhan. Thank you for taking out your time and joining us for the webinar today. So today's webinar we are going to was a topic called using Supertrend indicators on multi-time frames. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the session, please type them into the question box below. I'll bring them up during end of the session. So now introducing Dipesh Parekh is a CA by profession and a CFA level 3 candidate. He is working with the market research team at AlgoBulls. He has experience of around 7 years across various roles in financial and securities markets. Today, Dipesh will be taking us through using Supertrend indicators on multi-time frames. Over to you, Dipesh. I'll just make you the host. You can now share your screen, Dipesh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, am I visible? I don't think I am.
Uh, no, you're not, Dipesh.
Yeah. I switched on my video. Let me see the. Okay. Yeah, this I think it's good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Thank you everyone for being present in today's webinar. And thank you, Tan Brooking, for giving us this opportunity of connecting ourselves with you all. And as you rightly mentioned, today's webinar is on Supertrend indicator. So we'll in this webinar we'll understand what is Supertrend as an indicator. How can you use it in order to come up with with a strategy which gives you a decent risk reward ratio, and also how can you uh, how using Supertrend you can also understand as to how the market works technically. So yeah, so without wasting much time, let's just get into it. So before getting into Supertrend, I would just like to throw some on technical analysis and technical indicators in general. So, and this is applicable to all the technical indicators that we see out in market. First of all, the role and the purpose of any technical indicator is to help people in identifying different trading strategies in a much better way, in a much logical way. All trading indicators almost use past data. So any indicator that you see will would have been comprised of the data which has already happened in the market. So and that is why most technical indicators which use price as an input, price or maybe any variation of price as an input are lagging in nature. So by lagging we mean that it tells us only after something has happened. So yeah, so with this background in mind, we will straight away go to Supertrend now. So as so, so Supertrend is said to be one of the modern indicators. By modern indicators, we mean that it has come into market, it has got its recognition. Uh, Recently, there is no history as to when was this started and how did it start getting so much acceptance. But yeah, so it's a pretty new indicator. It's a modern indicator. It's very simple as far as its usage is considered. And yeah, so super trend, if you see it on a charting software or anywhere, you'll see that it's just a moving line which turns green and red and periodically, which tells us whether the trend in the market is bullish or bearish. Green signifies for bullishness, red signifies for bearishness. But this is something very general, and this is something which is very intuitive. We will try and see how it is calculated and what is it that makes it so important, and why is it that people around are using it so frequently, and why has it garnered so much importance. So first of all, it is my philosophy to it is my personal belief that in order to understand something and put your money on something, it is very important for you to understand the mathematics and the logic behind it, the science behind it. All indicators that we see in the market have some logic, and those logic are a derivative of some sort of thought process that someone has thought and which has evolved itself into an indicator. Now, when you will start trading in the market using super and indicator, it is very important for you to know. You might not do much out of it, but it will help you understand how things work in market, how how is this particular indicator working, and how can you manage and how can you utilize your knowledge about it in depth so as to make suitable adjustments in your trading. So it is very important to know, because without that you'll not know if something is going right, then why is it going right, and if it's going wrong, then why is it going wrong, and you will be helpless if it starts behaving erratic. So I'll just take a moment to share my screen and try to just will not go very much into detail, but it is very important for at least to have some understanding of it. So I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, I think it is visible. Yeah. So Basically, Supertrend is composed of so Supertrend takes the period and the multiplier as an input. Now, so whenever you select, suppose you go to a charting software, and if you select, suppose Supertrend as an indicator or a particular chart, you will see that there are as an input you find ATR length and factor. So this ATR length is basically the period of ATR, and factor is what multiple you're putting to an ATR in order to calculate the super trend. Now, in order to understand super trend, I think now we've realized that it is important for you to understand ATR. And in order to understand ATR, it is also important for you to understand what is true range. So up till now, we were speaking about super trend. Now we are taking a step back and going to average true range and true range. Average true range is nothing but average of the true range. So understanding true range will help you understand ATR also. Now, the concept of true range is such that in the market, in a particular instrument that we are talking about, it is very important for you to know the range of that integrator of range of that instrument, and also it is important for you to understand what is the volatility associated with that indicator at that particular point of time. So true range is nothing but, if you see the formula over here, in case you're not familiar with Excel much, that's okay. I will be trying to explain it in the layman terms also. But having an Excel helps you to recreate whatever you've learned. So I will try to share this Excel also with you, and you'll realize that whatever values you put here, you can match it with the chart. It will approximately match, and you can then play around it in order in whichever way you want to. So true range is basically the maximum. We'll look at this formula. It's a maximum of the latest high minus close or latest low minus close. We have to take this as an absolute value for it to give us a positive number, or the latest high minus low. So the current range, so that's it's a maximum of the current range. Current range is the latest candles high minus low, or the current high minus previous close, or current low minus previous close. Whichever is the maximum number becomes your true range. This means that the stock price may move between this range for this particular candle. It just tells us that the stock price, what is the maximum potential and what is the maximum points that can that this particular instrument can go on a particular day. Now, ATR is nothing but average of all these values for a given period. In our example, we have taken 10 and 3. So this is the 10 period average of ATR, and that is what gives us the ATR. Now, in order to calculate super trend, so if you see this chart, you'll see that super trend is just one line. Okay, it's just one line moving around, uh, which changes its color periodically depending on how the market is moving. But essentially, it's composed of two lines. It's not just one line. It's a combination of two lines. For display purpose, you only see one line because only that is relevant. But if you see, there are two lines over here. So whenever you calculate a super trend, you will calculate two values. It will have a final upper band and a final lower band. So upper band is nothing but there are lots of other conditions also applicable to this. But for a simplicity, we will understand it as the latest close plus the ATR value that we got here, ATR value into the multiplier. So multiplier in this case is 3. So the latest close plus the multiplier and latest close minus the multiplier, we will have two bands which will run parallel to each other. And basis other checks, we will define whether one and one of the band at a particular time gets converted into super trend. So if we see the chart, see the so here if you see, the red line is the upper band and the green line is the lower band, and orange line is the super trend line. Okay. So periodically, if you see with this case, the orange line is this line, and it is completely over red line. So at some point, this red line became the super trend. And at this point, when something happened, and this green line became the super trend, and red line was running parallel to each other. So when you see it on the chart, all you see is this orange line, that this is the super trend, but essentially it is composed of two lines, and these two lines together make up for a super trend, and it keeps telling us what the trend is in the market at the moment. Yeah. So this is how a super trend is constructed, and this is how a super trend is made. And now the second part is so I hope I know it's not that easy and not intuitive to understand super trend in this way, the calculation of super trend, but it was very important. Now you can take this as a base and try and work on it to understand it in a much better way as to how is this indicator made up, because by doing that you can then come in a position where you will be able to predict the movement of the super trend. Now currently what we do is we see the chart and we act as per the super trend. If you understand the working, then you can easily tell that what value can become the future super trend and how can we trade it well in advance. So so in our opinion, it's very important for you all to do everything in as much detail as possible, depending on how much money you are trying to put at stake. Now, we will see how can we use super trend, multiple super trend or multiple time frame in order to come up with a profitable setup. So super trend can be so using super trend in isolation will also give you good results, but to using it in multiple time frame, there are multiple factors for reasons why we do this. First of all, if you use any super trend, any indicator in isolation, then there are very high chances that it will keep on generating fake trades and false trades, which will unnecessarily increase the number of trades that we take, and which will obviously add up to our losses also, and also the transaction charges that we incur for that. Secondly, uh, in order for you to take any trade, it is very important to have confirmations from multiple sources and multiple scenarios, which will tell us that okay, now since we've got the indicator, it is also being confirmed and backed by something else also. And uh, most people in other cases they use different indicators also, but super trend, just tweaking the time frame of the super trend can help you to uh, in achieving this same thing without putting the hassle of going through different indicators and learning and understanding about them also. So in this case, we've taken, so this is a Nifty 50 index chart, and we've plotted two super trends over here. One is the parameter is 20 and 2, and other is 10 and 3. So 10 signifies for the length and 3 as the factor. Here we've taken 20 as the period and 2 as a factor. Now, if you carefully see this chart, for a layman and if, from naked eye, you can see that price and the super trend are so these two super trend are quite synonymous in nature. Okay, they are looking exactly similar, and you are not able to make out any difference. But if you look at it carefully in this chart, then you'll realize if we take it from here, this is the first point. Okay, this is the first point over here. So here on 18th April, the so this blue and this blue line, let's adjust it to black and blue, and this is green and red. Okay, yeah. So here, so this black and blue, this is the this indicator is of this 20 and 2. Here, even though the time period is big, the multiplier taken by us is 2. So this will be quite aggressive and this will act as so this line will act as the trigger for us. Okay. So here, if you see the uh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah. So at this point, this black line is turning blue line. Okay. So here, so this becomes our trigger, our sell trigger. But this red line is already red since quite some time. So we didn't take any trade here. We were waiting for the confirmation of the lower time frame, and once we got those, we took the trade. We can take the trade and ride it for as long period as it is activated. So so if you see here, I think it was my bad. Here we took the trade. Now, if you see here, the trend got reversed in the lower time frame in this 22 multiplier. So we will consider this as an advanced indicator, and we will not wait for this red and blue line to reverse. We will exit over here. So and yeah, so instead of waiting till this time frame, we will just exit here, and we will again wait for the indicate for the lower time frame to give us a proper setup. So now since there are a lots of false trades over here, we will straight away go here and we'll see how this is working in this environment. So first, if you see here, both the
Just a
candles,
second,
yeah,
Divek.
yeah.
A lot of people are found like the screen is stuck.
Okay. Let me just check here.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, it is.
Is it moving now? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So I think yeah, we will just assume from here. So now at this point, if you see the blue and black line, okay, then this is the 22 period. By definition, this signal 22 will generate the signal first because it is based on a lower multiplier and it is quite aggressive and it will give us the entry first. But we will not take any decision here unless and until we get the confirmation from the 10-3 line. This is done in order for, so there are two ways. So first of all, this red line, the 10-3 one in this case will act as the resistance. So at more often than not, that you'll see that most of the trades generated by the 22 line might not cross this line. And even if it crosses or touches, it will come back. And because this is the resistance, and it is that point from where the stock price might reverse or go down, which happened here also. But here we will take the trade because it has turned to green, and then we'll wait for the reversal. Okay. So if you see this particular trend generated, we got it from 24th April till 28th April. So here both the super trend were giving the buy signal, and none of them reversed until here. Here, if you see, we will not wait for again. So while exiting, we will not wait for red and green line to. We will exit when the 22 indicator will give us sell because this is an early signal that the trend is reversing, and we will not wait for the confirmation as far as exit is concerned. And again, we will wait for the new signal. So here, if you see, this indicator works well, and this setup works well when the trend is when a trend is strong and when it is confirmed by both the candles, you'll more often than not you'll also encounter some false trades also. which or false trades, or the trades where you will not get good profit or loss, but that should not stop you from using this indicator, because whenever you get the trend, you'll get it, and it will take care of all the small losses or small profits that you were making while trading the strategy. So here, if
Hey,
you
Dipesh, just a second. A lot of people are requesting to for this webinar in English, if we can do it.
English or Hindi?
Like Hindi English mix. Yeah.
Hindi English mix, okay, okay, sorry, my bad. तो हाँ, या तो इसमें अगर आप ये देखोगे, आई जस्ट रिपीट दिस क्विकली, एंड इसमें अगर आप देखोगे यहाँ पे, तो हमने 10-3 और 22 का सुपर ट्रेंड 2 लगाया हुआ है। 22 वाला ब्लैक ब्लैक एंड ब्लू लाइन है, एंड 10-3 वाला रेड एंड ग्रीन लाइन है। तो हमें जब पहला सुपर ट्रेंड का जो बाय सिग्नल मिलेगा, वो मिलेगा 22 में, बिकॉज वो लोअर मल्टीपल पे वो सिग्नल बेस्ड है, इवन इफ उसका पीरियड लंबा है, बट इट्स मल्टीप्लायर इज 2। सो फर्स्ट सिग्नल वी विल गेट फ्रॉम 22, जहां पे हम वेट करेंगे 10 और 3 में भी बाय की अपॉर्चुनिटी है, बाय की सिग्नल बनने का। बिकॉज जनरली क्या होता है, जब हम 10-2 के ऊपर ट्रेड करते हैं, तो 22 के ऊपर ट्रेड करते हैं, तो 10-3 में हमें रेजिस्टेंस मिलता है। 10-3 एक्ट करता है एज अ रेजिस्टेंस लाइन, और जब तक वो क्रॉस नहीं होता है, तब तक ये मानना सही नहीं होगा कि ट्रेंड सच्ची में रिवर्स हो चुका है। सो ये हम जो दूसरा सुपर ट्रेंड यूज कर रहे हो, वो इसके लिए यूज कर रहे हैं ताकि वो हमें फॉल्स ट्रेड्स से बचाए और वहां से प्रोटेक्ट करे। क्योंकि बहुत बार क्या होता है, जिस बार जो भी इंडिकेटर में सिग्नल आता है, उधर से ही मार्केट रिवर्स होता है या थोड़ा ऊपर जाके रिवर्स हो जाता है, क्योंकि तब तक ऑलरेडी चल चुका होता है मार्केट। सो इफ यू सी हियर, आप यहाँ पे देखोगे, तो ये जो सिग्नल यहाँ पे सुपर ट्रेंड का मिला था, एक्चुअली ट्रेंड स्टार्ट हो गया था यहाँ पे ही। तो यहाँ से यहाँ तक हमें कोई इंडिकेटर नहीं मिला, तो वेरी हाई चांसेस कि यहाँ से मार्केट रिवर्स हो जाए या थोड़ा ऊपर जाके रिवर्स हो जाए। और जो यहाँ पे हुआ भी, मतलब यहाँ पे एंट्री होके 5-6 कैंडल तक मार्केट ने कोई मूवमेंट नहीं दिया ऊपर की तरफ। लेकिन फिर जब हमें यहाँ पे कंफर्मेशन मिल गया, जब रेजिस्टेंस ब्रेक हो गया, तो हम यहाँ पे एक हमारा ट्रेड बना के वी कैन स्टार्ट, वी कैन गेट इनटू द ट्रेड। और यहाँ से फिर वी कैन राइट द ट्रेंड, अगर ट्रेंड इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग है और मार्केट बुलिश या बेरिश जो भी है वो। हम सेम चीज यहाँ पे देखते हैं, हमें यहाँ पे 22 में यहाँ पे सेल मिल गया था, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमें यहाँ पे 22 का सिग्नल नहीं मिला, एंड उसके लिए हम यहाँ तक वेट कर रहे थे 2 मई तक, एंड उसके बाद हम ट्रेड में एंटर करेंगे यहाँ पे। एंड आप देखोगे यहाँ पे, तो इसी सिग्नल ने 22 ने यहाँ पे हमें रिवर्सल दे दिया। हम इस केस में रेड और ग्रीन का वेट नहीं करेंगे आना, हम सीधा यहाँ पे ब्लू जो लाइन है वहां पे एग्जिट कर लेंगे। और यहाँ पे दिख भी रहा है कि जैसे ही रिवर्सल आ गया, उसके बाद कोई खास मूवमेंट आया नहीं था, सो देयर वाज नो पॉइंट बीइंग इन द ट्रेड, एंड हमने यहाँ पे ही एग्जिट कर लिया। अभी हम दूसरा कोई एक स्टॉक देख लेते हैं। यहाँ पे भी ये सेम प्ले आप कर सकते हो। मैं आपको ट्रेड सेटअप वगैरह, कैसे टारगेट स्टॉप लॉस कैसे एंट्री करना है, उस पर भी थोड़ा गाइड करूंगा, एक बार ये दिखा के हो जाए उसके बाद। ओके, सो अगर हम यहाँ पे देखें, तो यहाँ पे ये जो ब्लैक एंड ब्लू है, यहाँ पे हमें एक ऑलरेडी ग्रीन रेड सिग्नल मिल चुका है, ठीक है। बट हमने यहाँ पे अभी तक एक्ट नहीं किया, बिकॉज ग्रीन लाइन जो है वो हमारी रेजिस्टेंस सपोर्ट बन के थी, कि जब तक ये ब्रीच नहीं होता है, तब तक ये मानना सही नहीं होगा कि मार्केट ने वाकई में अपना ट्रेंड बदल दिया है। So we will wait for this line to be broken. We will wait for this 10-3 line also to be breached, and उसके नीचे जब जाता है, उधर फिर हम मान सकते हैं कि now we have a valid trade, जहाँ पे हम एक प्रॉपर रिस्क रिवॉर्ड के सिस्टम के साथ हम यहाँ पे सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से एंटर कर सकते हैं। आप देखोगे तो ये जो 10-3 वाला लाइन है, दैट इज ऑल्सो एक्टिंग एज अ ट्रेलिंग स्टॉप लॉस। तो जैसे जैसे अपना प्राइस नीचे जाता है, अपने फेवर में आता है, वैसे वैसे स्टॉप लॉसेस भी ट्रेल होते जाते हैं, एंड अल्टीमेटली पॉइंट पे जहाँ पे रिवर्सल आता है, वहां पे हम एग्जिट करते हैं। तो अगर ट्रेंड क्लियर है, ट्रेंड एस्टैब्लिश्ड है, तो आप एटलीस्ट जब भी आपका एग्जिट होगा यू कैन बी रेस्ट एश्योर्ड दैट वो आपके कॉस्ट प्राइस के मतलब आपके प्रॉफिट में ही वो ट्रेड होगा, बिकॉज आपका स्टॉप लॉस ट्रेल हो चुका है। सो फिर इट डजेंट मैटर कि ट्रेंड लंबा था या छोटा था, एज लॉन्ग एज आप स्ट्रेटेजी को फॉलो कर रहे हो, तो खाली यहाँ पे इतना ही ध्यान रखना है कि कंफर्मेशन के बिना एंट्री नहीं लेनी है। इट्स दैट सिंपल। सो ये सिमिलर है, आप कोई भी चार्ट में कोई भी टाइम फ्रेम ले, कोई भी ये लगा सकते हो इसको, और आप अपने हिसाब से इसको देख सकते हो। कुछ चीजें यहाँ पे नोट करने लायक ये होगी। पहली बात तो मैंने जानबूझ के ये नहीं बताया कि क्या प्राइस पे एंटर करना है, क्या प्राइस पे एग्जिट करना है, बिकॉज एंट्री एग्जिट ऑर्डर मैनेजमेंट जो होता है वो हर एक क्लाइंट का डिफर करता है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट कैपिटल ही इज ट्रेडिंग विद एंड डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ रिस्क रिवॉर्ड ही इज एक्सपेक्टिंग फ्रॉम द मार्केट। मतलब आपने सिग्नल सबके लिए सेम बन रहा है, मेरे लिए भी सेम बन रहा है, आपके लिए भी सेम बन रहा है, लेकिन ये मतलब आप शायद कुछ एक्स कैपिटल से ट्रेड कर रहा हूँ, मैं वाई से कर रहा हूँ, तो आपका कैपिटल जो है, अगर अगर हम दोनों मार्केट ऑर्डर मार्केट पे एंटर कर लेते हैं फॉर एग्जांपल, ठीक है, और मेरी क्वांटिटी कुछ ज्यादा है और आपकी थोड़ी छोटी है, या फिर वाइस वर्सा कुछ भी हो सकता है, तो इसमें क्या होगा कि जिसका क्वांटिटी छोटा है उनको ज्यादा स्लिपेज या ट्रांजेक्शन चार्जेस नहीं लगेगा, लेकिन जिसका बड़ा क्वांटिटी अगर उन्होंने मार्केट ऑर्डर प्लेस कर दिया तो हो सकता है उनको स्लिपेज आ जाए, उनको एग्जीक्यूशन ना मिले, या फिर जब सेल करने जाए तो उनको सेल के टाइम पे वो भाव ना मिले। इसलिए एंट्री एग्जिट जो भी रूल्स है वो आपके खुद के होने बहुत जरूरी है, आपके माइंडसेट से। मेरे हिसाब से अगर मुझे लग रहा है, मैं मार्केट में एक्सपीरियंस, तो मुझे पता है कि ऐसा ट्रेंड जब एस्टाब्लिश होता है तब मार्केट 20% रिटर्न भी दे देता है, लेकिन आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं मेरे को तो 3% 4% का ट्रेड भी मिल गया, तो भी मोर देन इनफ है, आई एम हैप्पी विद इट एंड आई विल एग्जिट इट। सो रिस्क रिवॉर्ड, कैपिटल और पोजीशन साइजिंग ये पर्सन टू पर्सन डिफर करता है। इसके लिए आपको आपको खुद को एज अ ट्रेडर आपका क्या साइकोलॉजी है, क्या मेंटालिटी है, वो पता होनी बहुत जरूरी है। तो उसके लिए आप, मैं तो इतना ही सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप जितने चार्ट्स देख सकते हो देखो, जितना आप इस पे मैच कर सकते हो करो। जब मंडे से लाइव मार्केट चालू होगा तो इस सेटअप को प्लॉट करो, कोई सैंपल 4-5 स्टॉक्स पे, और कीनली ऑब्जर्व करो, लाइफ में ऑब्जर्व करो। हम अभी जो देख रहे हैं ये बैक टेस्ट है, ये बैक डेटा है, ये हो चुका है। ये इसको हम एक हाइंडसाइट बायस करके भी बोलते हैं कि जो हो चुकी हुई चीज है उसको देख के हम पॉजिटिव चीजें निकाल रहे हैं। रियल में जब आप इसको लाइव मार्केट में देखोगे, व्हेन यू आर लुकिंग एट योर चार्ट एंड ऑल, यू विल रियलाइज दैट, और बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो एक चार्ट बनाने में जाते हैं। कई बारी आपको एक पॉइंट के लिए लगेगा कि प्राइस नीचे आ गया है, प्राइस ऊपर चला गया है, बहुत ज्यादा लॉस हो रहा है, जो ज्यादा प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, एंड आपको वो टाइम पे आपका कैसा बिहेवियर है, वो टाइम पे आपका कैसा अप्रोच है टुवर्ड्स योर स्ट्रेटेजी, वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है, वो ज्यादा मैटर करता है, रादर देन कोई भी चार्ट पे प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी या वो डिफाइन करना, सेट करना कोई भी स्ट्रेटेजी का। सो इनकेस आपको आपकी पोजीशन साइजिंग को लेकर कोई भी डाउट हो तो वी कैन हेल्प यू अंडरस्टैंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स, बट वी विल लीव दैट अप टू यू। इतना है कि जिस दिन ट्रेंड एस्टैब्लिश हो जाता है, प्रॉपर ट्रेंड एस्टैब्लिश हो जाता है, दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वेज ऑफ प्लेइंग लॉन्ग टर्म ट्रेड्स। आपको यहाँ पे बहुत केसेस में 4x 5x रिटर्न्स भी मिल सकते हैं, और आपके जो लॉसेस है वो बहुत छोटे छोटे होंगे। You may have streaks of losses, there is no doubt about it, but it will be all very small and manageable. And at any point of time, you can tweak your system, you can change, move out of one stock, you can move into another stock, you can have a screener जिससे आप रोज डिफाइन कर दो कि कौन से स्टॉक्स में मुझे ट्रेड करना है, कौन से स्टॉक्स में आज वॉलेटिलिटी एक्सपेक्टेड है। ये सारा चीज आप आइडेंटिफाई करके इस सेटअप को प्ले कर सकते हो। ये था सुपर ट्रेंड का थोड़ा सा जेस्ट एज टू सुपर ट्रेंड क्या होता है और उसको आप कैसे यूज कर सकते हो। अभी हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म, तो हम एल्गोबुल्स, वी आर आल्सो एन एल्गोरिथमिक ट्रेडिंग सॉल्यूशंस प्रोवाइडर। हमारा दो मॉडल है, वी आर इनटू मार्केट प्लेस जहाँ पे हमारी स्ट्रेटेजीज है, wherein all you have to do is just come and pick any strategy and you can start the strategy। एंड आपको ये फिर ये कुछ भी नहीं करने का जरूरत है, यू लिटरली डोंट हैव टू इवन ओपन अ चार्ट और एनीथिंग, ऑल यू हैव टू डू इज जस्ट ओपन एल्गोबल्स एप्लीकेशन एंड स्टार्ट द स्ट्रेटेजी फॉर द डे, एंड रेस्ट जो भी होगा वो आपके बिहाफ पे आपके अकाउंट में एल्गोबल्स के प्लेटफॉर्म के थ्रू हो सकता है। आपको हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे थ्री सेगमेंट्स, रिटेल, प्रीमियम एंड एच&आई मार्केट प्लेस। रिटेल में हमारे पास कैश एंड फ्यूचर्स की स्ट्रैटेजी है, वेयर प्रीमियम एंड एच&आई में वी हैव ऑप्शन स्ट्रैटेजीज। आपको कोई भी स्ट्रैटेजी को इवेल्युएट करना हो तो यू कैन स्ट्रेट अवे गो टू द पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रैटेजी। यहाँ पे हमने स्ट्रैटेजी से रिलेटेड सारी डिटेल्स यहाँ पे आपके लिए शो कर दी है, विच यू कैन जस्ट गो एंड वेरीफाई एंड वैलिडेट। यहाँ पे एवरी डे पे ट्रेड्स हमारे अपडेट हो जाते हैं, and you can check the execution in your account with ours, and you can just compare the accuracy of the trades। और यहाँ पे आप थोड़ा और जाओगे तो एनालिटिक्स में आपको और काफी सारे यहाँ पे हमने टूल्स दिए हैं, कुछ डेटा पॉइंट्स दिए हैं जो आपको हेल्प करेंगे आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए कि क्या ये स्ट्रैटेजी आपके लिए सूटेबल है। इस स्ट्रैटेजी का इक्विटी को देख सकते हो कि आपका कैपिटल कैसे मूव होता अगर आपने ये स्ट्रैटेजी चलाई होती। आप यहाँ पे ड्रॉडाउन भी देख सकते हो कि आपका ड्रॉडाउन क्या था, किस तरह से था, और आपका जो भी एक जर्नी होता अगर आप स्ट्रैटेजी स्टार्टिंग से चलाते हैं तो कैसा होता। तो ये सारा डिटेल्स हमने हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे डाला है, आप यहाँ पे जाके इसको वेरीफाई वैलिडेट कर सकते हो। एंड आप ये सेम स्टार्टअप से आप ऑप्शंस भी ट्रेड कर सकते हो। कोई इस पे रेस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है कि आप खाली फ्यूचर्स या ऑप्शंस ही कर सकते हो, एनी स्ट्रैटेजी कैन बी परफॉर्म ऑन दिस। सो आप ये हमारी कुछ गूगल्स प्रो की स्ट्रैटेजीज है जो आपको ये इनका रिस्क रिवॉर्ड है। एंड सेम यहाँ पे ये आप पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रैटेजी में यहाँ पे आपको मिनिमम गेन, मैक्सिमम गेन, एवरेज प्रॉफिट, एवरेज लॉस पर विनिंग ट्रेड्स एंड लूजिंग ट्रेड्स आपको मिल जाता है यहाँ पे। एंड या अगेन दिस पीएनएल चार्ट एंड उसके सामने परसेंटेज टर्म्स में along with it the equity का। सो या आप तो इस तरह के हमारे पास स्ट्रैटेजीज है। आपको सिर्फ यहाँ पे आना है, आपका ब्रोकिंग अकाउंट यहाँ पे ऐड करना है, ब्रोकिंग आप यहाँ पे ऐड करोगे। all you have to do is then just go and create your Dhan account and map your Dhan account to Algobul's account। and उसके बाद आपको खाली every day डेली बेस पे all you have to do is start a particular strategy। अब स्टार्ट करोगे, आपको आपका ब्रोकर सिलेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, यहाँ पे ब्रोकिंग आ जाएगा। and all you have to do is agree and start। so that's it is that simple to trade your strategy on Algobul's। सेकेंडली इफ यू थिंक दैट द स्ट्रैटेजी हमारे पास जो है वो आपके लिए सूटेबल नहीं है, या फिर यू आर नॉट कंफर्टेबल ट्रेडिंग ऑन आवर स्ट्रैटेजी एंड यू हैव सम better strategy which you are finding it difficult to execute in live market, you can get it coded by us, we will do that also। we do customized coding also। so if you see all the strategies, HKC, JS, STB, GSI, all these are customized strategy which are available only to the clients who have got this made for themselves। तब वो भी कर सकते हो खाली। I'll quickly wind up the webinar with this thing के trading is not, so पहली बात तो trading is not easy। आप चार्ट्स पे कितने भी सेटअप्स बना लो, आप कुछ भी कर लो, ट्रेडिंग इनफैक्ट अपना जो रेगुलेटर है सेबी, उन्होंने भी ये एक्सेप्ट किया है कि 90% ऑफ ट्रेडर्स डोंट मेक प्रॉफिट, इंट्राडे ट्रेडर्स, एंड इंट्राडे में भी मैक्सिमम वॉल्यूम ऑप्शंस का है, तो 90% ऑफ इंट्राडे एंड ऑप्शंस ट्रेडर्स डोंट मेक प्रॉफिट इन द मार्केट, ओनली 10% of the people are making profit in the market। so there are very high chances कि जो 10% लोग प्रॉफिट कर रहे हैं they are the ones who are doing it systematically, और बाकी 90% जो है उनका कहीं ना कहीं बायर्स इन्वॉल्व है उनके ट्रेड्स में, इसके लिए शायद वो नहीं कर पा रहे। तो हमारा ओपिनियन और एल्गोबुल्स का फिलॉसफी यही है कि अगर कोई चीज में अगर आप एफर्ट डाल के भी लॉस कर रहे हो तो वो चीज में एफर्ट डालना ही क्यों है, यू कैन straight away get it coded or maybe just use anybody else's strategy which is readily available। you can focus on your own activities which will make money for you, and trading can then become a passive source of income for you rather than active source of income for you। indicators समझना easy है, अच्छा है. It's a very good thing if you are learning to trade, and you should always look up to, because that is something which gives you an additional opportunity of making money over and above whatever you're making. आप आपके business में या आप job कर रहे हो तो उसमें you have very limited scope of growth and all, but with trading and all this sort of avenues you can make money in exponentially also. But obviously it comes at a cost, which you will understand once you start trading. Even if you're already trading, you know that it is not that easy. So we would just suggest that either you outsource your trading activity to someone who can do it better for you, or just get your own thing coded if you think that that is something that is working for you. Yeah, that's it. So I think we can start the question answers if there are any, and if there are not, then maybe we can just wind up the webinar. So yeah, so
Yeah. Second. So we can start with the questions, guys. If anyone have any questions, you can write it in the Q&A box. So Dipesh, we have one question here. How can traders use super trend indicators on multi-time frames to identify trends and trading opportunities?
hello. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll repeat the question. How
Yeah.
can traders use super trend indicators on multi-time frames to identify trends and trading opportunities?
Okay. So yeah, I think I cannot share my screen. So on multi-time frame, so obviously in order for you to come up with a setup on a multi-time frame, you have to use the charting software in such that you can see two charts parallelly. One will have short-term time frame chart, and other will have a long-term chart. And then accordingly, you can do it. Since it is a tedious thing to look at two charts simultaneously, we adjust this thing in the parameter of the indicator. And that is why we've taken 10, 3, and 22. So 10, 3 will act as a short-term parameter, as a short-term period, and 23 will act as a long-term one. So that is how you can do it. So if you're comfortable you looking at multiple charts, then you can plot the same parameters on the other the different chart. But I think playing around with parameters is better as compared to playing around with different charts. Yeah.
Great. So the next question we have is, what are the key considerations when using super trend indicators on multi-time frame charts to avoid false signals?
Yeah. So one of the most foremost thing in doing this is to use the super trend with the higher multiple as the confirmation signal, which will help us eliminate the false trade, because as I said, the higher multiple line will act as the support and resistance. And once that is breached, you can take it as a confirmation and then start the trade. Yeah.
And the next question we have is, how can traders combine super trend indicators with other technical indicators to enhance their trading strategies?
Yeah. So obviously since there are so many indicators available out there, you can use the combination of different indicators, but adding too many indicators in a particular strategy can actually dilute and can actually give you a very signals such that which will not so first of all it will so the probability of you getting into trades will drastically come down, because the more confirmations you look at will mean that you are eliminating more profitable opportunities. So it's so using two or three indicators, and if you're using two super and indicators, then we feel that there is no need for any other indicator to be used.
Right. So the next question we have is, how to scan a super trend on weekly time frame, or is there any scanner which shows list of stocks turning to super trend by on weekly time?
Yeah, and so there's a application or the website called Screener, or maybe not sure iCharts or something, which helps you do that. I'm not very sure, but I think screener is something which will come to your aid if you want a scanner to identify it. I'll meanwhile just look for that thing. Yeah, we can move on to.
We have one more question. Yeah. What are some common mistakes?
Sorry, I'm sorry to just interrupt. It's charting. Sorry, my bad. It's charting. Charting will help you to identify the scanners based on Supertrend, whichever time frame you want to. Yeah.
So the next question is, what are some common mistakes to avoid when using super trend indicators on multi-time frame charts?
Yeah. So common mistakes is the most common mistake is not to follow the strategy and system. And in case you are trading with the higher quantities, then going with the market order can also work against you, because you'll realize that whatever trend was established, because of your quantity, you only took up the prices and you were the worst hit by it. So yeah, so not knowing yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. So there is nothing wrong with the setup. You can follow the setup, but you have to follow it in line with who you are as a trader and what is your standing as far as trading is concerned. Yeah.
We have a last question over here. What are some effective ways to backtest super trend indicators on multi-time frame charts to evaluate their performance?
To be very frank, I don't think any backtesting platform will come to your aid here. You might have some to look at. You can just Google and you'll come across a few backtesting platforms out there. But using such complex indicators requires some time and effort. So you will actually have to go back and recreate, and you will have to go back and look at the charts and see for yourself as to what worked and what didn't work, rather than just looking at the data and analyzing whether this was a profitable setup or not. So yeah, so looking it for yourself and looking at as many charts as possible, I think that is the only key in determining it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Dipesh, for an insightful session. I'm sure all the attendees got to learn a lot of new things, and that's all. That's all for the day, guys. And I'm happy to share that all the attendees are eligible for Dhan referral rewards. Refer your friends to download and register in the Dhan app and get 20% of brokerage for every trade your friend performs. Thank you so much, Dipesh.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you.